Okay, next I'm going to talk about an even and odd function. This is a way that you can determine a type of symmetry. I'm going to show you it graphically, and then I'm going to show you how you kind of do it algebraically, and then we're going to do a video of actually working through one algebraically. So I'm going to draw three different graphs here. So the first one, let's call this a parabola. Let's just do a parabola here. So this is going to be x squared. My second graph, I'm going to go ahead and just do x cubed. This is x cubed. And my fourth graph, let's just do a parabola over here. So let's say that this would be something like x minus 3 squared plus 1, because we went left 3, up 1. So easy enough. Now, if we look at symmetry, what the action of symmetry is does it have certain properties? If I would take x squared and I would fold it over the y-axis, if I fold it over the y-axis, it perfectly matches up. So this is symmetric. We call this about the y-axis. So basically any graph that we can fold directly on the y-axis and we get the exact same, both sides line up perfectly, then that's going to be symmetric about the y-axis. Now we call this an even function. So this is an even function. The other type of function we're going to have is if we hold our finger, we imagine holding our finger on the origin and we take this part and we rotate it 180 degrees. So if we took this part and rotated 180 degrees, it would perfectly match this part. So this is actually symmetric about the origin. And the origin is that 0, 0 right here. And we take this part and we rotate it 180 degrees and they should perfectly match up. This is called an odd function. Now, these are pretty special, even and odd, but the majority of our functions that we're going to deal with aren't going to be able to fold on the y-axis and perfectly match up, are not going to be able to be rotated 180 degrees around the origin and match up. We're going to have stuff like this. So if I took this graph and I folded it on the y-axis, well, it doesn't perfectly match up because there's nothing here. If I hold my finger on the y-axis and I rotate it 180 degrees, well, there's nothing here. So it's neither one of these. So we actually call this a neither. So we actually say it's neither even or odd, and symmetry cannot be determined. And not be determined. Now these are pretty easy to spot when you have a graph. Because you can actually take the paper, if it's on a paper, you can take the paper and fold it in half and look and see if they match up. You can imagine this rotating 180 degrees. These are pretty easy to spot. The real question is going to be, how are we going to do it when we don't have a... All right, so these are actually pretty easy to spot when you have a graph, because you can physically see. You can have that little picture in your head. Hey, if I fold this on the y-axis, they match up. Hey, if I rotate this 180 degrees around the origin, it matches up. Hey, this doesn't do either one of those, so it's going to be neither. So these are the three types of functions we're going to be looking at, even, odd, or neither, when we talk about symmetry. Now, it's much harder when you have an equation. So there's some basic, here's the rules. If f of negative x, we're going to plug negative x into the equation. And if I get f of x out, if I get the original equation out, this is an even function. If I do f of negative x and I get the negative f of x, this is an odd function. And if neither one of these occur, it's going to be a neither function. All right, so that's the basics of an even and odd function. I'm going to go ahead and there'll be another video on how to do this algebraically. Hi, I'm Mr. Buzzard, and these videos are supplemental instruction for my students. If you found the video enjoyable, make sure you click the like button and click subscribe, as well as the bell for notifications to receive future videos on high school mathematics.